So recently there have been changes in the AR digital wealth mutual fund model portfolio. So what's the rationale behind these changes? And there have been changes every year. So what's the logic behind doing this every year?
See, what we have done now is that this is a yearly process, right? And what is important is to have the process of mutual fund selection. So when you create a portfolio of, let's say today we have 14 schemes in the portfolio, right? But this 14 schemes portfolio is the outcome of, what is the universe? There are about 921 open-ended schemes. So among 921 open-ended schemes, this portfolio was created, right? So what basically we do is that out of 921, let's say we have to create a portfolio of 14 schemes, right? So it is not a selection. First of all, it's a elimination. So our team, what they have done is they have shortlisted some categories which we don't do it. For example, balance fund we don't do it, sector funds we don't do it, international funds we don't do it. And there's very reason behind it. There's data behind it, right? So we eliminate certain categories, right? So out of 921, some schemes go away. Then we apply some hygiene filters. Like for example, any AMC, mutual fund company, which is not having 3,000 crores of equity AUM, those AMCs will not come for selection. Any mutual fund scheme not having 1,000 crores will not come for selection. And we need minimum 3 years track record. So no new fund offer will come into for selection, right? So then we apply hygiene filters, and so some schemes go away. Then there are various parameters that is applied, right? So for example, many investors, they look at a parameter called returns or past returns, maybe 1, 3 yearly, 3 years, 5 years, right? But that's one parameter. Actually speaking, there are 101 parameters basis which one can evaluate equity mutual fund schemes. So what our research team they have done is they have shortlisted 9 parameters out of 101, which has a positive correlation with the returns in the subsequent year. Those parameters applied, plus we have our one parameter which is a future NAV. So that is added there. And so once you apply these parameters, then the portfolio is created. I'm just explaining in short. So it's not about telling you what technical thing is, but important for investors to know that there has to be a process of creating mutual fund. And the work doesn't stop here. So when they create a mutual fund portfolio, they also monitor this portfolio day in, day out. And that is what we have been doing for last more than a decade now. So, and that's a process. So every year they see whether all these schemes which are in a part of the portfolio are still following the same parameters and following the same parameters, and that's how they deliver returns or no, right? And this process, every year when we do it, couple of schemes may not do well, right? So that's how we have removed 2 schemes this year and replaced with 2 other schemes, right? So however good portfolio you may have, you have to understand that all your schemes may not do well. If you look at the data, industry data tells that 35% schemes underperform in their own category. So our research team, their objective is to ensure that how can we bring down from 35 to 50, 20%. So a couple of things, whatever you do, right, we not do well. So you have to replace. What is important is to ensure that take action and replace those schemes with something else which they do well. So that's what we have done right now in the model portfolio.
So now you would recommend that we move out of those old schemes and invest in the new model portfolio. So, but when we move out of those old schemes, there would be tax implications for the investor. And this is an area where most of the times the investor is not very keen on paying taxes immediately because he's made gains on his investments. So how do you tackle this? Why should be actually the investor to make changes immediately and follow this process?
Yeah, this is a very common question we get from investors. But see, understand one thing, tax is inevitable. You have to pay taxes. If not today, tomorrow, after 3 years, after 5 years or 7, 10 years, whenever you sell the schemes, you'll have to pay taxes, right? But by not paying taxes and staying in the schemes which may not do well, I think it's penny-wise pond for you. So it's sensible to pay taxes and get into new schemes. One more thing is that, government allows you to allows 1,25,000 rupees capital gain every year that is exempted, right? So if you do this exercise, let's say for 5 years, if you do this exercise every year and remove the schemes which are not doing well, and in the process you pay, let's say 1,25,000 rupees you gain, right? So you're exempting 1,25,000 for 5 years, which would mean each year 6,25,000 rupees gain will be exempted during this 5 years time. As against this, if you don't do this and only do it once after 5 years, you'll be allowed to exempt only 1,25,000. But apart from this, I mean, this is one thing that where we should do it. But apart this, I think staying in the wrong scheme, which may not do well, I think is a not a sensible thing to do. So that's why I think tax you have to pay, like today or tomorrow.
So I think so the takeaway investor is that there is a detailed study and research and a proper process behind the mutual fund model portfolio which Digital Wealth is providing. And there are changes every year. So the key takeaway is that we should be aligned to the model portfolio. And if there are any changes required to be done, we should do it timely, pay the taxes, and benefit from the process which the team
Yes, make changes in the portfolio as and when it's recommended. In fact, we also help you in reviewing your portfolio, which is outside here also. So you can also get that portfolio review from us, and we will tell you which schemes may not do well, which schemes, and all the parameters. Which is very important. People may know the returns of their portfolio, but may not know at what risk they have taken they got the returns, or what is the combination of a large cap, mid cap, and small cap in the portfolio. For example, today we have 55% large cap, 23 mid cap, and 22 small cap. That is the outcome of the study or the process that is being followed by the research team, right? So do you have this process in place, right? So if no, then understand what is the process, why one should have the process, whether your portfolio has able to deliver returns better than the market or no. All these things are very, very important, right? And this is what is the outcome of this review, which is what can be communicated to the investors. And then you can realign in such a way that, but ensure that whenever you realign, be prepared for making these changes whenever recommended to you every year. I think that is very, very important.